You're on the floor, or the couch, or the bathroom. It doesn't matter where. What matters is that something has broken open inside you, and the tears are coming, and you are, for a moment, completely undone. And then you feel it. A weight against your leg, a nose pressed to your hand, a warm body settling in as close as it can get, not moving, not asking for anything, just there. Completely and quietly there. And something about it makes you cry harder, not from sadness, but from something else, from being found, from being met in the exact place you are, without explanation or condition. Most people assume this is instinct, or coincidence, or the dog simply following its usual routine and happening to arrive at the wrong, or the right, moment. The science tells a different story entirely. Let's start with what your dog actually detected. Before you were fully crying, before the tears came, possibly before you even knew they were coming, your dog's nose was already building a picture of your internal state. In 2021, researchers at Queen's University Belfast published a study in PLOS ONE that confirmed what many dog owners had long suspected. Dogs can detect the physiological changes associated with human emotional distress with remarkable reliability. They can smell the shift in cortisol. They can detect changes in adrenaline, the specific cocktail of stress hormones your body releases when you are overwhelmed is, to your dog, as legible as a visible expression.
Your dog didn't see you cry and then come to you. Your dog smelled the distress building, possibly minutes before the first tear, and began moving toward you before you had fully understood what was happening inside yourself. They knew before you did. Now here's where the research gets genuinely surprising. In 2018, a team at Goldsmiths University of London, led by Dr. Deborah Custance, published a study that has become one of the most referenced pieces of research in canine empathy science. They had owners and strangers alternate between humming and fake crying in front of the dog, and they measured what the dogs did. The dogs didn't go to the person making the most familiar sound. They didn't go to their owner by default. They went to whoever was crying. Regardless of whether it was the owner or a complete stranger, the dogs oriented toward and approached the person showing distress. And they approached in a specific way, not with excitement, not with play behavior, not with the energy of a dog who wants attention. They approached with what the researchers described as submissive and concerned body language. Head low, movement slow and careful, offering contact without demanding it. This is not a dog seeking comfort for itself. This is a dog offering it. But the study that changed how researchers think about canine empathy came from a different question entirely. Dr. Custance's team also measured what the dogs did after they reached the crying person. And what they found was that the dogs didn't just approach, they oriented their bodies in a specific way. They made themselves available for contact. They pushed their heads under hands. They pressed against legs. They held still. The behavioral profile matched almost precisely what researchers call consolation behavior, a category of response previously documented in great apes, elephants, and corvids, but considered far too cognitively complex to exist in dogs. It wasn't. Dogs show consolation behavior, directed, intentional, physiologically regulated consolation behavior, the same basic architecture of empathetic response that allows a chimpanzee to sit beside a distressed group member and offer touch.
Your dog, when it comes to you while you're crying, is not doing something random or accidental. It is performing one of the most sophisticated social behaviors documented in non-human animals. Now, here's the part that most people find either deeply comforting or slightly overwhelming, depending on where you are emotionally. Your dog feels something when you cry. Not the same thing you feel, we can't know that with certainty, but functional empathy.
a state change in their own nervous system triggered by detecting distress in yours. When your cortisol goes up, their cortisol goes up. When your autonomic nervous system activates in response to emotional pain, theirs responds. The 2019 study from Linköping University in Sweden that measured long-term cortisol synchronization between dogs and owners didn't just find that their stress levels correlated. It found that the owner's emotional state was the primary driver of the dog's. Your dog's nervous system is calibrated to yours. It runs in a very real physiological sense, partly on your emotional signal. When you break down, something in them breaks down too. They come to you not because they're trained to, not because they want something. They come because your pain has activated something in their nervous system that the only resolution for is proximity to you. Here's the thing about what happens when they arrive. The physical contact your dog offers, the weight against your leg, the nose pressed to your hand, the warm body staying still beside you, is not just comfort in the psychological sense, it is a measurable physiological intervention. Touch from a trusted companion produces oxytocin. It lowers cortisol. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for rest and recovery, the one that your stress response has just suppressed. Your dog pressing itself against you while you cry is, at a biological level, helping to regulate the very nervous system that is currently overwhelmed. The comfort is real, it is chemical, it is happening in your bloodstream and your brain while you sit on the floor and feel like everything is too much.
There is one more thing the research shows that almost nobody talks about. Dogs remember. Not in the narrative way humans do, not with a story they can retell, but in the associative, physiological way that matters for behavior. A study published in Animal Cognition found that dogs retained emotional memories of interactions and adjusted their future behavior accordingly. A person who was distressed in one interaction was approached differently in subsequent ones, with more caution, more softness, more checking. Your dog has been paying attention. Every time you've been sad, every time you've been overwhelmed, every time you've sat somewhere and something in you went quiet and heavy, your dog filed it, built a model of you that includes what you look like, smell like, sound like when you're not okay. And every time since, they've been monitoring for those signals, not because they were taught to, because the bond between you has made your emotional state one of the most important pieces of information in their world. You are the center of their social universe. When the center is in pain, the whole system responds. So the next time you find yourself somewhere difficult and you feel that weight settle against you, that quiet presence that didn't ask permission and doesn't need explanation, know what it actually is. It is a nervous system reaching toward yours, a physiological response to your distress that evolved over thousands of years of living this closely together. A form of empathy that researchers spent decades assuming dogs weren't capable of, until the data said otherwise. Your dog came to you because you were hurting, and something in them couldn't do anything else. If this reached you at the right moment, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment below. Has your dog ever found you when you needed it most? Because the next video goes into something that's connected to everything we've discussed, what your dog actually sees when they look into your eyes, and the neuroscience behind it will change how you see every moment you've ever shared with them.